we got more armatures. Looks like more destroyers as well. One moment, please, gentlemen. What I'd like to do is angle us like this, and then just poke our head out here. Blast ya. Back up. Go back down. Blast ya. Back it up. At least when we have this door like this, ooh, don't like the looks of that. This is a nice way to avoid taking fire. Of course, nothing stopping you from just going full speed ahead, but it is potentially a lot of fire to be taken. You do go that route. And that armature does technically have shields. Actually, a couple more of them up on the elevated section there. But yeah, the reason why it's a little more keen to focus fire on that armature is because if we wait too long, the shields will start to regenerate, and that obviously undoes progress that we've made. Okay, let's get rid of you. Oh no, it was an armature and it was another one of the destroyers. There we go. Okay. So we got rid of them, but of course, maybe more where they came from. Okay, don't drive off the edge. Same rules apply in that, of course, if you do drive off the edge here, you're dead. Not so surprisingly. Any more friends where those first ones came from? Not immediately seeing any.
I'm on my way.
Though as you can see here, the side areas do still exist. I actually don't know if you didn't kill the little Geth down here previously, if they would still be here once you start coming back. They might be. They might still be in that situation, but as you can see, we took them out on their way down here initially, and so they don't respawn at the very least. Okay, but we are heading now to the middle camp of sorts, where we're expecting to run into Lisbeth's mother.
Is there anyone picking this up?
Yup.
What was that all about?
You know, we're about to find out.
This is Juliana Bainham of Pharaoh's colony. Please help us.
That's her mom.
That's my mom. Stop! Stop the rover!
Okay, let's hop out, and then maybe save, and then we'll see what we can learn here. And we do also see that, once again, our journal is just updating very frequently here. So speak with the refugees. You need more information about returning to Zoo's Hope. Talk with Lisbeth Bainham's mother, Juliana, at the refugee camp to find out what they know about the Thorian. Okay. We did also pick up a little bit of equipment after fighting all those Geth on our way back over here. And, some level 9 upgrades, although we got the combat exoskeleton level 10. High explosive rounds 9, another scram rail, that's definitely useful. I think... Were we using that as one of our upgrades? We were, on Shepherd. So that gives us, I mean, the smash damage is not super helpful, but the hardening and physics threshold, that's the primary reason why it is a useful thing to have, especially when, you know, if you have the two weapon, or rather the two upgrade slots available to you, then you can start to get a little more specialized with what you're putting in each one of them, because, you know, we have toxin resistance and health regeneration on one side, whereas we have the hardening and physics threshold on the other. So basically we have protection, in this case, against tech abilities and biotic abilities, whereas in this case we have protection against armor, or rather shield ignoring attacks. So across those two things, that does give us a nice well-rounded set of defenses. Okay. Is that Lisbeth? That's a little strange. But anyways, here are the researchers / colonists that we encountered previously.
You can't do this, Jong.
Everyone shut up! Let me think.
Uh-oh.
What's going on?
He was a little
won't
crazy
get
when
away
we
with
first
this.
encountered him.
Get her out of here!
Get away from her, you son of a bitch!
Lisbeth!
Damn it! Come out where I can see you! All of you!
Alright, everybody just calm down here.
Shepard. Damn it. I knew it was too much to hope that Geth would kill you.
Excuse me?
I found some interesting facts about you in the exogenic database.
Did you now?
I know what you did during the Blitz, but your heroics aren't needed here.
Okay, well, yeah, like I said, everybody just stay calm, and also you have a lot of explaining to do. I would not be deflecting blame to us right now.
We can talk this out. Nobody needs to get hurt.
You don't understand. It's not that easy. Communications are back up. Exogenic wants this place purged.
This is a human colony, John.
You mean that
You can't just
other
repurpose
people
us.
can hear us?
It's not just
I
you.
mean, was anybody paying attention here to
Something
begin with?
far more valuable than a few colonists.
Yeah, you know this whole, I believe it is referred to as Species 37, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we've heard about it. This whole Thorian business.
You're after the one unique thing Pharos has, the Thorian.
The what?
It's a telepathic life form living under Zeus Hope. It's taking control of the colonists there. Exogenic.
Surprised her mother doesn't know about it. What?
You won't get away with this, Jong.
So you keep saying, but nobody's gonna miss a few colonists.
Okay, and here we have what is actually the hardest charm check in the entire game. This check requires that you have the maximum amount of charm. And so it is extremely difficult to get this one done. It is technically, I believe, slightly easier to do the Intimidate version of it. But that is one potential reason why, although I was saying at the beginning that theoretically, at least from a combat standpoint, this mission is perhaps, of all the main quest missions, one of, if not the easiest one to do first. However, from a other standpoint, because it takes a whole lot of your charm or intimidate to get this dialogue option complete, it is perhaps a nice little bonus to do this one last for that reason. And this is significant. This is also a rather big deal, being able to do this. So let's see, what about the big picture about the colonists? You know, you say missing a few colonists is not all that much of a problem, but if we're talking about trying to maintain, sustain this colony, then, you know, colonists surviving is pretty darn important, I would argue.
Can't you see the inherent potential in this colony? Think of the promotional opportunities.
Alright, and this guy only thinks
Talking about?
in the terms of business opportunities, so maybe need to appease to his business sense then. Pharos will be a symbol of what can be, what humans can do.
They recovered from an alien attack on a frontier world. Add that to your company profile.
Well, yeah. No one's ever gone broke playing the champion of humanity card.
Sadly, you'll
probably, but
make a killing.
yeah, go that
But
route.
if it will let us get back to our lives, I'm for it.
It just might work. Wait, no, but the infected colonists will throw a bit of a wrench in that plan. No, they need to disappear.
You can't just kill the colonists. It's not their fault.
If you kill only the Thorian, it might be enough to stop the infection. Maybe.
I mean, so they're infected, but the source of that infection is the Thorian, or at least the Thorian is the one that is turning that infection into some mind-controlled state, and so if you take away the Thorian, then maybe they're still technically infected, but it doesn't matter because nothing is trying to use that to mind-control them. Or it could just be that, you know, they go completely insane because, you know, some function, some portion of their brain has basically been consumed by the Thorian spores, and so, you know, the Thorian has basically filled in for that hole that it's created by doing the mind control capabilities, but as soon as that's gone, then they're just going to have some blank gap in their mental capabilities, and so they're going to turn into, like, just lifeless zombies that can't function without what was the only thing holding them together anymore. But, you know, now hopefully you're right. Hopefully getting rid of the Thorian means that they'll be fine.
It's worth a try, but I don't know if I can avoid harming the colonists.
There has to be another way.
Maybe there is.
But maybe
Come and
there
talk
is.
to me before you leave, Commander.
Just make sure there's no evidence when you're done.
And so there you see a huge, huge Paragon bonus as well. And we'll talk a little bit more at the end of this mission with regard to what the actual specific effects of passing that charm or intimidate check are. But let's just say at this point in time that it is important for you to do that. Or at least, if you can, it is a very nice bonus. So, let's see. So, also extremely important here, I'm actually curious to see, does the main quest technically require us to talk to Juliana here? Take the rover... Okay. It may not say it, but it says just take the rover back to the Prothean Skyway to Zeus Hope and find the entrance to the Thorian's lair. You might want to speak to Juliana Bainham before you go. I'm gonna revise that statement. You really want to speak to Juliana Bainham before you go. It is, kind of crucially important. She did say, yeah, Commander, you might want to chat with me before you head out, and yes, do so.
I'm glad you've decided to help us. I think there's a way to avoid killing the colonists.
Because that does sound like that could be an important factor. Yeah, I hope so.
What did you have in mind?
I think you could safely use a nerve agent to neutralize the colonists.
Like a gas grenade.
So, basically, the concern here is that, what with the Thorian, we know, mind-controlling the colonists, and the Thorian, in theory, being threatened by the Geth, or potentially even us, might use the colonists as a meat shield, and have them try to attack us to defend the Thorian, except the problem is, we don't actually want to kill the colonists, we want to save them, so we'd like to find some way to maybe, like, incapacitate them, just get them out of the way while we deal with the Thorian, and then, like Lisbeth was saying, if we can actually take out the Thorian while the colonists are still alive, then hopefully that means that whatever mind control capabilities the Thorian had will wear off and the colonists will be more or less back to usual, at least that's the hope. So, well, would we get caught in this nerve agent as well? Because that sounds like that could knock us out, too.
Releasing clouds of nerve gas doesn't seem like a particularly good idea.
It's not like it's weapons grade. The insecticide we use in the grow labs contains trace amounts of tetraclopine, a neuromuscular degenerator. If their nervous systems are already weakened, it may act as a paralyzing agent.
A reduced capacity concussion grenade might suit our needs.
Okay. I suppose it's worth a shot.
Sounds good. I'll do what I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Commander.
Equip your grenades with the anti-Thorian gas upgrade. This will disable infected colonists without killing them. That is why this is so crucially important. So, make sure that you do this. We see the anti-Thorian gas, and it only comes in upgrade 1, but don't worry about that, because if we look at our grenade upgrade here, we are currently using the high explosive, but we'll switch that around because if we go to anti-Thorian gas, we'll see these upgrades are specifically designed to disable subjects infected by the Thorian without killing them. And, you know, we obviously at the very beginning of this mission went through all the trouble of trying to support the colony, helping them out by giving them or fixing their water supply, their food supply, their power supply, taking the Geth out in the tunnels, all that stuff. And, you know, if we just turn around and killed them all at the end of the day, then that wouldn't really, that wouldn't help very much, right? That would defeat the whole purpose of having done that at the beginning. So, for that reason, definitely make sure that even after you, so obviously first, talk to Juliana Bainham to get the Thorian gas upgrade, then make sure that you actually go into your equipment and equip it, because if you don't, then, well, you're going to be blowing up the colonists with your actual grenades, because yes, this is in truth going to be just like any other grenade we would normally throw, in that it will, well, they'll fly out and blow up at people. But on this occasion, we are changing the upgrade to make them non-lethal, and, you know, if you don't do that, then you are going to kill the colonists. So it is very important, and that's why I was saying earlier that, you know, doing what you can to load up on additional maximum grenades before heading over to this mission is definitely helpful. And that is another reason why doing this mission a little bit later and making sure that you get as many grenade upgrades as you can before you do it does help, because, of course, the more of those grenades that you can throw out to cure or at least knock out those colonists, yeah, definitely not cure, but at least incapacitate those colonists, the easier this can become. Then we have Gavin, and of course we did eventually find the information he was looking for us to gather.
Any luck finding my workstation out in the ruins?
We did.
I managed to find the data and transfer it to your OSD.
That's very good news indeed, thank you.
Had no problem.
I was there anyway. It was the least I could do.
Well, I appreciate it. Here, you've certainly earned this. Thanks again, Commander.
Yeah, we get a ton of Omnigel and some experience, and I think that is it. It kind of implied that we were getting a physical item of some sort, and he was saying how, you know, he is skilled in the way of creating, seemingly he was suggesting upgrades of some variety, but perhaps not what we're actually receiving in that case. But anyways, once again, an update to our main quest here, which, yes, I mean, it is the main quest, so I suppose makes sense that it is changing a lot over time, but it has changed a whole lot. So we're still looking to get back to Zoo's Hope. However, we can take our rover, aka the Mako, back along the Skyway to Zoo's Hope and find the entrance to the Thorian's lair. Equip the anti-Thorian gas upgrade, which we did do, to your grenades to disable mind-controlled colonists without killing them. Which is, in case it wasn't clear, yes, important. Do it. Make a point of doing that. Trust me.
Exogenic Corps appreciates your cooperation in securing its colonial assets.
Okay, I never want to talk to you again. Thank you very much. So now let's head on back into the Mako. And of course, this was just sort of the midpoint between the Exogeny facility and Zoo's Hope. We still have more ground to cover, absolutely. And as something tells me, said ground is not just going to be open and unoccupied, because as we can see here, there are more red dots, although despite seeing them on our map, I'm not seeing any enemies in front of us at the moment. They might be behind this cover, though. That would be my guess. Can we get a line of sight on them? Because I don't think we have one right now. Oh man. So from this angle, that looks a little daunting. Does kind of look like there's a, you know, a humongous gap in the Skyway that would prevent all but Superman from getting over there. But don't worry, it just curves. It just curves, is all. And here are all the enemies in question, and this is not a great place to be hanging out, in case that was not clear. Let's immediately relocate. Alright, guys. Point proven. You're here. We found you. You've made your point. One moment, please, while I attempt to re-maneuver. Can we get you from here? We can. In fact, we can take you out from here. I thought. Did we get you? Yeah. Okay. So that's one armature down. And here's another armature, and hold on. What? Oh, I thought it was just either a huge boulder or tumbleweed that was just casually rolling down there. I was like, what is that doing here? Ooh, that flies over our heads. But that still hit us? Excuse me. It was nowhere near us. Thank you very much. But you are not dead yet. We just knocked you down, didn't we? Now you're dead. Okay. So, first round, or I guess I technically don't know what round of get that was, but took care of them. And so this is at least us coming up on the entranceway back into the place where Zoo's Hope is. Though remember that in this area was also the place where, is it this spot right here, or it might have been, we might have passed it already. Is it this? No, I think we already passed it. But it is the place where we have the area down below the Skyway that has the infinite experience crate. So remember that we were looking at it on our way over here, where the way it works is you go over to it, you unlock it. I think it's this one over... No, not here. I think it's still accessible on your way back. Just want to verify before, because I was about to say that I think you could still use it on your way back if you'd like to, although I may need to revise that statement. Unless perhaps we still have one more section of the Skyway to go through before we actually get back to Zoo's Hope. Like, double check our map here real quick. Let's actually take us to, yeah, to Zoo's Hope. Yeah, I thought you could still go down into that little side area below the Skyway to get the infinite experience crate on your way back, although Either we already zoomed past it and I missed it, or perhaps it is not usable here. I thought it was, though. So perhaps if you are keeping a keener eye out than I was, then you can still make it happen there. But again, that is theoretically the best place for experience. Before we head back to Zeus Hope, though, let's save real quick. Now let's see what we have over here. Of course, based on what you're hearing from those other people, it is perhaps not the most straightforward the way things are going to go down here, because we are expecting to run into some mind-controlled colonists. Also, what the heck is that? So it's alive, and we are apparently out of the Mako right now, and that is a Thorian creeper, which, well, let's just say, let's not let it get any closer to us. Technically speaking,
The amount of infection could have altered a human to that extent. I wonder what is going on here.
okay, so this is actually very important this here. So, remember that the colonists are theoretically mind-controlled by the Thorian and are acting to defend the Thorian right now, and so in theory they are going to try to attack us. However, we just want to ideally incapacitate them without actually killing them. Hope being that we destroy the Thorian, then the colonists are fine and they're still alive. Whereas if we get a little too aggressive here and don't care about who we're shooting at, then we could potentially actually kill the colonists, and then doesn't matter if we take out the Thorian, they're of course still gonna be dead. And so this is really important, because your answer to this question here will dictate how your teammates behave with regard to those colonists. If you say careful, leave the colonists, that means that they will deliberately avoid targeting the colonists with any of their abilities or weapons, where if you say wipe everything out, they will shoot with reckless abandon, and they will in fact even attack the colonists. And so, technically speaking, I think this may also have some ramifications for Paragon versus Renegade, but for reasons we will discuss later, it is, I would highly recommend that you do whatever you can to try to spare as many colonists as you possibly can. So for that reason, we are going to say for them to leave the colonists. But the other thing I was going to say is that enemy that we just encountered, that Thorian Creeper, technically, we have actually encountered one of them before in a side mission, briefly, which is kind of interesting because it's technically sort of like a plot-related enemy of sorts. Of course, the Thorian is something that we only find here on Pharos, so a little odd that you can technically find at least one or two of them before you come over here, but...
No hitting the colonists, even if the Thorian makes them fire on us. That's what the gas grenades are for.
As you order, Commander Shepard.
And so, there you see, this is why this is where we should save. 16 colonists alive. So it does keep track. And that number absolutely can go down if you fight those colonists. And the other thing that I should note here is, so obviously we got the Thorian gas upgrade that makes it so that our grenades can safely take out the colonists, incapacitate them rather than kill them. However, there is an alternative. You can actually also melee them, and that will work as well. It will not kill them, it will just knock them out. So that is particularly good for if you run out of grenades, because of course, as you can see here, this, that 8 that you see down at the, I mean, I can't actually hover over it, but next to the 7 that you see by the plus sign, that is our metagel number, but to the right of that, where there's sort of the circle of sorts, that has the 8 out of 8 on it, that is our grenade count, and so of course that means we can only throw 8 grenades, and with 16 colonists, I mean, you do the math there, something tells me that means we are perhaps going to have a bit of a grenade shortage. Of course, grenades do have some area of effect, so if we are mindful of when and where we throw them, we might be able to incapacitate multiple colonists at once. However, if you do run out, then you are going to want to go with the melee option, take some out that way, but here we go. So here's the thing. We have some Thorian Creepers here. Several of them, in fact, potentially a whole room full of them. And we really didn't get the chance to see them at all, or at least what it did on that occasion there, because we incapacitated it quickly enough. But let's try to take them one at a time here. But as we are quickly going to see, I think, the reason why I was saying many times before that crowd control is going to be an important factor here, this is why. This is why. Now let's maybe throw as well. Try to get rid of as many of these as we can. And that one's probably going to die once it drops down there. And you will see that we are taking some fire here from weapons. And you may ask yourself, how are these Thorian creepers shooting weapons at us? And the answer is no, it's not the Thorian creepers. It is the colonists over here that are shooting at us. And like we were saying, colonists theoretically will try to hurt you, because they're trying to protect the Thorian. So what I'm going to do is, if I remember which one the melee button is, that's the grenade button. And large area of effect took incapacitated safely all 4 of these colonists here. So yeah, I love the area of effect in that case. I kind of thought we were going to only get 1 or 2 of them in that case, but yeah, so there you see, it knocks them out safely, and bottom right corner still says 16 colonists alive, even though they may look like they've been killed. They are in fact still safe, as we use the Thorian grenade, but that means we are on just 7 at this point. Hold on, this should be an elevator, there we go. So this now takes us to the main part of the colony. And hold on. We got some Thorian creepers back here, it seems. Let's crowd control you. That one didn't care. In fact, neither of them care. So we still have yet to really see what they do. But I'd just say that's probably a good thing.
I'll kill you!
Okay, now there's Calantha Blake, and the thing is, oh, we've taken some damage. Oh, is that from our throw? Oh, so we need to be kind of careful with our abilities in that case. Once we're getting close to these colonists.
Get down! Incoming!
Was that big enough? That was not big enough. So that was a poorly thrown grenade in that case. I'm gonna try meleeing you instead. Okay, so you still see 16 colonists alive, even after punching her in the face. So unfortunately, that is another way, if you happen to, say, throw away a grenade and waste it, like we just did, then that's a good way to still manage to save all the colonists. But you may be able to tell from the way you're seeing those Thorian creepers go down when we do shoot them to death, what they do if you let them get too close. And on this occasion, I would actually like for them to push a little bit further forward. Yep. So that we do not. This one. Getting too close. Not quite. I think we're still safe. But I'm trying to deliberately lead the Thorian creepers in this direction and then separate them out a little bit from the colonists. That way we are not at risk of accidentally shooting any of the colonists. And I would highly recommend that you take this part of the mission very slowly and methodically, so that you do not accidentally take out any of the colonists, because it is easy to accidentally do that. And they are taking cover here, so I'm thinking this is a place where we... oh no, that's the punch. Hold on. That. Oh, did I preemptively did? Okay. Hold on. Okay, that's another one. We're taking pretty significant amounts of damage here, but I'm trying to save some grenades because we wasted several of them.
Enemies everywhere!
Just give them a good slap. So those guys are good, and again, still 16 colonists. Let's just take a second here, get some of our shields back, all of our shields back, and ideally some of our health as well. And so one thing you can notice is anytime you see these enemies that are sort of bundled up like that, that is going to be a Thorian creeper that presumably will end up spawning once you get closer to them. Sometimes they don't spawn immediately, so just keep an eye out for them whenever you see them like that. Also an upgrade kit there for what it's worth. But, sure, we'll nab it. Oh, and that does restock your grenades, as it turns out. Okay, so that is, of course, crucially important. Ideally, you'd actually go through, and I forgot that that's what that one was. I knew there was one over here somewhere. But, okay. The Thorian grenades actually can, I believe, also help you to just take out the creepers as well. But, of course, that is sort of the secondary objective. Okay, I don't want to accidentally take these colonists out who are behind them. Ledra is actually almost dead, or at least partially damaged here. Okay, let's give you a little excuse me, bop on the head. There we go. Yeah, Ledra almost died there. Oh, excuse me. What? Go the grenade route instead? Okay. Not entirely sure what happened there. But, well, it seemed like he was taking damage when I punched him rather than just immediately getting incapacitated, so I was a little bit concerned that if I continued to punch him that he would have actually died, even though that's not supposed to happen, so I opted to use a grenade just to play it safe. We have deliberately been a little aggressive with the punching, just to be sure that we'll have grenades to spare, and in fact, can be particularly helpful even later on, because like I was starting to say, it can be useful also to just take out the creepers. So I'm literally going to stasis that one, so that ideally does not actually reach us. And I'm trying to avoid things that could potentially damage colonists by mistake, like throw or lift. Okay. Looking good thus far. Still, certainly some colonists, certainly some creepers remaining.
There are the controls for the crane, Commander Shepard.
There's Maka Doyle again. Recognize the names of some of these people have actually leveled up there. Okay, I feel like our friends... Oh no, okay, I don't think they're shooting our colonists here, thankfully. Okay, so that was a lot of the colonists. Including... You were the one, as you may remember... Oh, not this again. Okay, I'm gonna grenade you just to play it safe here again, I think. Just to play it safe. Actually not sure if you can just completely walk past them and ignore them if they're shooting at you and you eventually make it here. So you may remember that she was just hanging out here on the freighter crane controls and not letting us check these out previously, and it seemed rather suspicious. We were asking her why she was here, what she was trying to do, and she was very evasive, like everyone else. But of course, we've now learned that Thorian is, at least in theory, underneath this freighter, and so freighter crane controls perhaps gives you some further explanation as to why that was important for her to be basically guarding those. So what we're going to do here is, although that is definitely something that we will absolutely want to investigate, I just want to take a close look, see if there are any other colonists that we can punch, or creepers for us to incapacitate. But I think we're good here, because that is functionally the place that you're trying to get to, is those freighter controls. So again, definitely take this slow and steady, and make sure that you don't accidentally take out any of the colonists. And worst comes to worst, if you start to run low on the grenades, then you can punch them like I was doing quite a bit there. So let's activate the controls now, or in fact even save before we do so. The famous non-lethal melee attacks. Exactly. You know, you just give them a good bop on the head with a large metal weapon. I mean, we're using a pistol, right? It's comparatively lighter than like a long sniper rifle or big heavy shotgun. They'll be fine. They'll be fine, right? Totally. Well, anyways, let's activate it now. And so now you see why they were guarding it, because, well, it does open up this super secret staircase into the Chamber of Secrets.
I tried to fight it, but it gets in your head. You can't imagine the pain.
So this is, of course, Fidan, the leader of the colony.
Be their leader. These people trusted me.
Uh-oh. Excuse me.
It wants me to stop you, but I won't.
And remember, if you disobey, it causes an excruciating amount of pain. Oh! He resisted, but it looks like it cost him. And, well, it does still say 16 colonists alive. Apparently Fidan was never one of them in that case, because, actually, I think you can see his body? Question mark, or so I thought. Though I'm not immediately finding where exactly he was standing when he just did that. Maybe not? But, yeah, the reason why it still says 16 colonists alive and that number didn't change is because, unfortunately, there is, in fact, no way to save Fidan, I'm afraid. So, this is, well, now the secret entrance. That's actually interesting that the exclamation point here for where we get to those crane controls doesn't say crane controls. It says, minimize the casualties, please. So yeah, we did succeed in that, fortunately. That is crucially important. We did also level up there, so maybe before we head down in full, let's throw on some additional upgrades here. And I think we will still go with the electronics upgrade to increase our shields from 210 to 240. It's, well, taken out, I think, all the Thorian Creepers before they've actually gotten the chance to get to us and use any of their big attacks, but let's just say they are also on the list of enemies that can ignore shields, so at least in this case, short term, not super relevant, so this is more so a long-term upgrade for different types of enemies instead. And no grenades during cutscenes either. Alright, so then, Liara, I think we were going... No, we actually went a Sorry Scientist for her just to get more of the recharge time on her biotics, even though I don't love the other things on this upgrade here. So, I think, you know, long-term it'll eventually add up to something, I hesitate to say significant, but marginally noticeable, maybe? Then Tali, again, she has tons of shields, and so she's great when her shields can actually protect her against enemies, but like I was just saying, the Thorian Creepers technically can deal damage that completely ignores them, so that is potentially problematic, and that means that using, or increasing her hardening and, specifically her hardening, that is what will reduce the damage from them. Damage reduction mostly relevant for weapon damage, so that'll be helpful. Make her, in many ways, sort of a designated tank, even though that is not... Doesn't seem like that would usually be her role. Take a quick look at our new update here to the mission, and yeah, it says minimize casualties. Fight your way to the freighter and down into the Thorian's lair. Kill Thorian Creepers at will, but avoid slaying the colonists, which fortunately, with our non-melee, our non-lethal pistol whipping, it did work out. And, you know, our super safe nerve gas grenades. You can safely knock them out using melee. Okay, so it does say here that you can use melee attacks or grenades equipped with the anti-Thorian upgrade, but that's the thing, is that it may say it here that you can use melee, but they don't say in any of the conversations with any of the colonists or what have you, so only if you look there would you realize that that is an alternative, and it is a pretty important alternative, I'd say, because as we were talking about earlier, it is potentially easy to run out of grenades. Okay, and so there you see the Renegade and Paragon points that we gained. 0 Renegade, a bunch of Paragon. The reason for that being, that is basically a, in response to how many of the colonists you either saved or killed. And so we saved 16, got 32 Paragon points, meaning you get 2 Paragon points for every colonist that you save, or 2 Renegade points for every colonist that dies. And so technically speaking, that's what I meant when I said that you could potentially, actually, kind of, sort of, deliberately kill the colonists to boost your Renegade score, but even that is not a great idea. I would encourage you to find other ways to do that because, for reasons we will discuss later on once we're done with the mission. So, that being said, we are now down into what is the start of the Thorian lair. So as you can probably imagine, things are about to get pretty serious here. I am curious to see, though, do we have an actual entry on the Thorian itself? That's kind of what I was hoping we'd run into. But, I don't know if it would be primary or secondary, and that's why previously I was going through the aliens non-council races to see if it showed up there, but I'm not entirely sure what category it would actually fall under. So, for that reason, I think we carry on here. But we have, of course, learned a lot about the Thorian from the various researchers and colonists that we've encountered along the way. But here we go. And I think we want to, of course, keep our eyes peeled for lots of those Thorian creepers. Alright. No signs of them yet. So I suspect that is about to change. Hello? Other thing is that, like I was saying, that of course because the Thorian creeper damage does ignore shields, that does have some potential ramifications in terms of what type of gear you have equipped here. It means probably don't equip things that boost shields. And yeah, that's why I was saying a little ways back that medical exoskeleton for the health regeneration and toxin resistance, definitely relevant. And combat exoskeleton for the hardening and even physics threshold, also very relevant. So not a coincidence that I threw those on a little while ago. And let's see, we have the same setup here for Liara. We might actually, yeah, we have a better medical exoskeleton now. It should be, let's see, that's 8. I'm pretty sure we picked up a 9 a little while back. Yeah, we did. That should give her a little bit more toxin resistance and health regeneration. I think that's definitely worth doing. And then for Tally, what do we have for you? Medical interface 7. Okay, we definitely can do better than that. Do we still have a 9? We do. Okay, so let's put that on. And then for a second one, we're giving her kinetic exoskeleton, which does some shield recovery and shields and mobile accuracy. This is probably not the situation in which we want to have that. So this is a good example of something we probably want to switch. And we probably give her another combat exoskeleton. Basically do that combo of toxin resistance, health regeneration, hardening, and physics threshold upgrades for everyone. So I think that's more or less going to cover all the things that we want to focus on reducing our damage from. The pure damage protection, actually not as relevant here, I don't think, as much as the more niche type of damage or power-resistant types of defenses.